Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So good morning. Welcome to another market open stream. There is the bell. And today, unfortunately, we're opening up in the red. Pretty deep red. So today I want to talk about how rising rates, not only in the US, but around the world, are stifling the growth of Bitcoin, crypto, and stocks. So what exactly happened today, and what can we look forward to for the remainder of this year and next year? So let's talk about these things and more. So welcome, guys. Take a look. U.S. market is deep red. Now it just opened. Still, minus 318. NASDAQ minus 154. So we had a lot of rates hiked up yesterday and today. Yesterday I already covered in the U.S. Fed Powell raised the rates by 50 basis points, right? So quite significantly. This morning, two other major central banks did the same thing. The ECB raised rates by 50 basis points. It seems like everyone is paying attention to what Powell's doing. Now, the ECB is kind of slow. ECB's inflation is really high. So they raised it from 1.5 to 2%, which is still barely nothing. In the U.S., we're at 4.25 already. So they're more than half or less than half away, right? And then not only that, Bank of England also raised rates 50 basis points to 3.5%, still trailing the U.S. But yesterday, today is like a day of rising rates, right? So whenever you raise rates, obviously it has an economic impact because it becomes more expensive to borrow, and everything else trickles down in terms of credit cards, car loans, mortgages, all go up. Corporations can't borrow as much, especially when they need the capital, because now they have to pay so much interest, right? So corporations are also affected. They're not able to grow or hire nearly as much. So this is what's happening right now, okay? But the thing is, I got to say, what Powell said yesterday wasn't that bad. In fact, I thought it was pretty good. But you know what? Wall Street may be taking it a different way, or this may be just I don't know, just fear because of not knowing what's coming, right? Fear of what's coming in 2023. Could be. But yesterday, Powell was actually pretty dovish. He was actually hinting that, rates will slow down soon, right? And completely stop in 2023. So I'm still looking forward to that. But today, it seems like all these other rate hikes has the market spooked quite a bit. If you look at a DXY, though, you know what? DXY is still going down. This is what we want to see. So some of the things that show that better days are coming, for example, 10-year Treasury yield is dropping. Whenever a 10-year drops, that means people are thinking, okay, better days are coming. Whenever it goes up, people are thinking worse days are coming. Okay, so Treasury year has been dropping down from the 4% now into 3.5%. That's good. That means a lot of people think that better days are coming, 2023, right? So it's time to dump these Treasury bonds, which basically yield nothing, and get ready to be buying risk-on assets like, tech stocks and Bitcoin and crypto, right? And today, look at DXY went down. Whenever a DXY goes down, that's terrific. That's what we want to see, right? Why? Why do we want to see it? Especially for those of us in Bitcoin, whenever DXY goes down, the dollar loses strength. Guess what happens? Strength goes into Bitcoin, and we see crazy rises for Bitcoin. Also correlates a lot with the 4-year cycle. But if you look at Bitcoin's growth, pretty much all happened during times when DXY started coming down. And Bitcoin's declines all came when DXY started going up. So right now, DXY is coming down. Still not that far down, but it is coming down. 10-year yield is showing it's going down. So all this adding to the fact that things will get better. Things will get better. Just maybe not today, but things will get better. And that is why so many are buying the dip right now. Cathie Wood, she's definitely a bull. She's buying Coinbase. Coinbase stock has been decimated recently, right? So she's buying Coinbase. She's buying Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And she's buying Tesla too. It was announced that she's buying Tesla because all of these have been decimated, right? But that's what you're supposed to do. What do you that's what you're supposed to do. When things are low, right, you take advantage, especially assets that you believe in, it's going to come back and get stronger. That's what you do. So glad to see Cathie Wood, even though I poked fun of her a little bit before for selling a couple things at top. It's okay. Or selling at bottom, I say. Selling at top would be a good thing. But selling a few things at bottom, that's okay. Overall, she's a big Bitcoin bull. She's a Tesla bull. She's a technology bull. She's a crypto bull. And still believes that Bitcoin can hit $1 million by 2030, which is only, if you think about it, 7 years away. So, good. Good overall. Also, other crypto whales are stocking up, right? If you look at this, whale and shark addresses accumulating. This is specifically in stable coins. Stable coins going higher, right? Just wait until that money flows out of stable coins and into Bitcoin and other crypto, right? So there are definitely a lot of loading up, stocking up at this point. And, Bitcoin also being stocked up. A lot more people have been telling me about hitting that magical 1, becoming a Wholecoiner, right? And you could see on the top right-hand side how fast it's going up. Many, many, many people are taking advantage, not just the whales, not just big institutions, but there are a lot of retail investors also taking advantage, stocking up while they can. All right, so that's good. That's good. I guess a little Binance news, right? A lot of fear over Binance recently. A ton of fear about how they may be the next FTX. They could crash, and then you guys know I was very angry last night talking about Kevin O'Leary testifying in front of the Senate, saying, "Oh, it's all CZ's fault. It's all Binance's fault that FTX went under." Still painting this picture that SBF is innocent, and they're the little kid being bullied by the bigger kids like Binance, right? He was just lying through his teeth, trying to still protect whatever reputation he has left. And it was awful. It was awful. But without this he said, she said kind of thing, right? In terms of the FUD against Binance and whether or not there's going to be a bank run, Crypto Quant using some on-chain data to show that, Binance isn't exhibiting FTX-like behavior. There isn't a massive bank run where Binance is basically out of Bitcoin or Ethereum like the days before FTX closed down their withdrawals because they ran out of Bitcoin. They had zero, basically, and zero ETH. That's certainly not the case for Binance. So here's a list on Nansen that shows the total reserves of all the exchanges, okay? And you can see clearly these are the top 12. Coinbase is not included because Coinbase has not given up their address or addresses to show their proof of reserves, although they say they disclose it quarterly, right? And they say they have about $5 billion in assets. So if they were showing, they would be like number 3. Okay, X is number 2, Crypto.com, right? Huobi, KuCoin, Bybit, all the big guys, right? And you add them all together, there's still not even half of Binance. That's just how big, shows you how big Binance is at 57 billion. And even then, I think that's low because if you go to Binance's individual page measuring how much assets they have, it's closer to 60 billion. So Binance is not having a massive bank run. It's not exhibiting FTX-like behaviors. So just want to squash that a little bit more because there just seems to be endless FUD about that. You know what? That is what I wanted to cover today. There's not a whole lot. Today is one of those down days, red days, right? And it's not fun. It's not fun. And I think today is just because Wall Street doesn't know what to think about what Powell said yesterday. And also you have two other central banks talking about, or not talking about, did raise their rates and will continue to raise rates, right? So there's still this uneasiness about whether or not they're going too far, whether or not there's going to be more pain ahead, right? And overall, this is natural. It happens, right? The best way to look at it is you have more time to be loading up and DCAing while things are low. So Bitcoin right now is at 17.5, a little bit, unfortunately, a little bit lower than last night. It was about 17.8-ish. Looked like we were holding, but dumped a little bit this morning because of the global markets. And if you look at the entire market cap, yesterday we were at 880, or is it still 880? Well, that would be amazing if the global market cap is still higher today versus yesterday. Maybe it is, but most things are showing red, but maybe that just didn't update. All right. I think that's pretty much it. The only other thing is I do want to mention a new sponsor, a new service that a lot of you guys, I think, will want to take advantage of because of this horrible, horrible, horrible year. A lot of you guys are in the red, right? So that is why, you know what? I want to bring up Cointracker, which is a service that does your taxes for you. Crypto and NFT taxes done fast. Why this is important? Because we have 2 weeks left. We have 2 weeks left in this year. So if you wanted to take advantage of tax loss harvesting, this is your chance. You have 2 weeks left because after the year rolls into 2023, you can't take advantage of this. So many of you guys that are in the red, you want to take advantage, right, of tax loss harvesting because it can help you on taxes, right? So it could offset your capital gains on anything else that you may have, right? And with crypto, just to remind you guys, that you can do wash sales. It has not been prohibited yet by the IRS, which means if you want a tax loss harvest or tax harvest loss, you can actually sell off your crypto and buy back immediately. And as long as you don't resell it again, well, then there you go. Of course, I am not an accountant. I am not an accountant, and this may be different for different countries, but it is something definitely worth thinking about. So that's why I partner up with Cointracker. Basically, they will aggregate all of your trades for you, hundreds or thousands or millions of trades that you may have done on various exchanges, various wallets. They could track it all, and they will calculate it for you so that you don't have to guess. You don't have to manually calculate, right? They're also partnered up directly with Coinbase, OpenSea, also partnered with TurboTax, H&R Block. This project was started back in 2017 by two ex-Googlers, and it's a very simple interface. It could connect up to all your exchanges. You can plug in your wallet addresses. It will automatically calculate everything for you. So if you wanted to take advantage of tax harvesting by the end of this year, you still have some time. All right, so check them out if you're interested. Link is in the description. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. Someone said, are you not going to mention a new coin that's listed at number 6? No, because it's probably a mistake and it doesn't belong up there. I had no clue what that is. Sometimes, you know, you have wrong, like circulating supplies, or it's an accident, like a misplugged number or something. You see something just rise up all of a sudden in top 10. And that doesn't mean they belong there, or if it's good. All right, let me scroll up here. Let me see if I missed anything. I gotta bring up something. Someone named Hard Magic says, "Hey, thanks for your info with Binance. Just a German big crypto guy. Sure. Okay, they don't. Okay. Well. Tax harvesting is definitely, you know, you make the best, but you make the best of what you have, right? And this year we had devastating losses, so people hate the IRS, but you can you could take advantage of what exists right now, which is tax harvesting and wash trading for crypto, at least in the U.S. I don't know about other countries. I'm assuming it's similar. Let's see. Hey, George. Steve says, hey, George, got 2 ledgers. Is awesome. Can sleep at night. Thanks for the heads up. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm just wondering. I can't wait for that stacks to come up because it looks pretty cool. But now that you have your crypto in a hardware wallet, you're protected. You don't have to worry about anything. Well, other than safeguarding your recovery phrase. Lighten says, I have been promoted to lieutenant of the XRP Army. Okay, I'll take that. Today is supposed to be the big day when we hear something about XRP. It's been rumored there's going to be some kind of settlement with the SEC. I don't know if that's real, but let's see. Maybe. Tesla ripping. Is Tesla finally going up? Is it pre-market they were going down? Yeah, I don't know about plus 2% ripping, but it's good that they finally turned away, although they're still at a 52-week low today at 159. I have not heard from Elon. He has not tweeted out about why he is or why he sold another like close to $4 billion worth of shares, especially when it's so low, right? You figure it has to be related to Twitter. I mean, for those of you guys that are playing Tesla, you know how to play options. You know, if you're buying like, I don't know, you buy a call for like next year at like 200 or something, that's probably a pretty good bet because you know Tesla's going to come back up. I don't know. We'll see. Today is actually a horrible day. Minus 500 now, minus 210. So see like stuff like this, right? Economic data like this. Retail sales fall 0.6% in November as consumer feel the pressure, right? This is the type of stuff that is not good. But generally speaking, it's good because it shows Powell that, you know, people are getting poorer and spending less, right? Here's the thing. I think one of the takeaways I got from yesterday's conference is the fact that he really wants to see the job market kind of soften and almost to a point where it kind of crumbles so that unemployment goes up. because right now unemployment is not moving, and that scares him. So he's looking at price of goods and services, which both are coming down. He's also looking at mortgages, which is coming down. Housing is coming down. The last thing he's looking at is wages, which is not coming down because unemployment is so low and jobs are still being filled at a record pace. So he's concerned about that, right? I think that's what may be scaring Wall Street, because he basically says, more people need to get laid off, right? That's how you go bring wages down. These companies need to stop hiring, right? And that concerns me a little bit. I think that's the wrong move, right? You could bring inflation down. You don't have to make everyone broke. So that's the thing. So I didn't like what he said about that, right? I think everything else is working, but the fact that U.S. market is so strong with his labor force, that's a good thing. That's like the backbone of the U.S. economy. So why would you want that to go down? But I also didn't like his answer where someone asked him, where did all the people go? There's like 4 million people short in the job market. And he was claiming like half of them died from COVID or something like that. I'm like, okay, I was just laughing at that part. I don't know. I think a lot of them just went to gig economy jobs. People found out ways to make money besides a 9-to-5 job, some early retirement, right? I think that's more likely the case. Did you hear James from Invest Answer said he's not sure BTC will be here in 30 years, from bullish to ultra bearish? Well, that's his opinion. For me, I believe the only crypto, if I was betting and someone said, hey, George, which crypto would you bet has the greatest chance of surviving? The only one I would bet on would be Bitcoin. Long term, next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, am I confident that Ethereum will be around in 10, 20, 30 years? No. Am I confident that BNB or Cosmos or Polygon is going to be around 10, 20, 30 years? No. Am I confident that Bitcoin is going to be around 10, 20, 30 years? Yes. Yes. Bitcoin is the only one that I have confidence in that will survive, and that's because nothing competes with it. People still don't understand. Ethereum and others, they're more like tech companies. They can be outdated and they can be replaced with others. Okay, they're network protocols, so that means there could be better things that come in the future that overtakes them. There's nothing that competes with Bitcoin. Nothing. There's no other store value like Bitcoin. Nothing is being created to be a store value like Bitcoin because it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. That's why I feel like Bitcoin will stay around literally forever. It's going to be the hardest and the most valuable asset we have because it's controlled by code. You can't create more. You can't inflate it more. No country can really control it because it's non-sovereign. It's spread around the world, and it's the only network where you can send without being KYC'd or tracked or being told whether you can or cannot. So I rambled on a little bit, but I do think Bitcoin is very different than everything else. Joe Lamas, if a ton of people wash trade, so many people are in the red right now, couldn't that actually be bad for the market and drive us to new lows? No. Because if you wash trade, you're selling and buying back right away. Unless you sell it and not buy it back, well then that, yes. But the point of wash trading is with stocks, you have to wait 30 days before buying back if you want to take a loss, right? With crypto, since IRS deems crypto property, you could take advantage, watch trade anytime. Unless the IRS changes that rule, it's going to be open and doesn't affect anything. Good morning. Sometimes I get a feeling that instead of DCA, just want to buy a new coin. Your opinion that I have 15 coins now. I mean, 15 is a good amount. You can always buy something new if you like something. You just want to get into something new. There's nothing wrong with that. Still safe to buy XLM, ETC, and Coinbase? Sure, yes, why not? I don't know why you would be buying both of those, because not a fan of either one, and I don't know what their future use case will be, but yeah, Coinbase is just fine right now. Is there a max amount of loss you can claim? Well, in the U.S., you can only take $3,000 per year of loss, capital loss, which is unfair if you think about it. Capital gains is unlimited. Capital loss is limited to $3,000. But if you do have capital gains in something else, then you could definitely offset it, right? But it's $3,000 per year, and then it carries over. So if you have $10,000 loss, you carry that for 4 years, basically. But the good thing is if you carry over, and let's say next year in 2023, we have a great year and you have capital gains again, well, the capital loss, the leftover capital loss that you haven't claimed yet can be claimed the next year, right? So it's good to claim it regardless. Regardless of whether or not, you may be thinking, oh, that 3,000 means nothing. But it could be carried over to following years. And then you could always subtract off from your capital gains in the future years, right? So definitely worth looking into. Again, I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant, right? I'm just telling you what I know. But work with your CPA or accountant or H&R Block or TurboTax. Work with whoever you work with to figure this out. And especially if you're overseas, the tax rules may be different, so make sure you seek professional advice. It's sad crypto has to follow traditional markets. It is, and the only reason why it's happening is because you have too many people that think that Bitcoin is just like a tech stock. You have too many whales and institutions, mostly from Wall Street, I would say, the newcomers in this space with a lot of money. They bought in 2021 because they FOMO like everyone else, and in 2022 they sold off because they FOMO'd in 2021, right? So they don't actually believe. They don't care about the fundamentals. They don't care about this decentralized network. But the holders do. The number of holders continue to grow. The number of Bitcoins being hodled for long-term continues to grow. In fact, yesterday, I just talked about how long-term holders are holding 83% of the circulating supply or 88%. So some astronomical number. So all this fluctuation that we see is based on the very little, under 20%, that's being swashed around on the exchanges right now. But if you think about how much is not being traded and being hodled, it's staggering. And that's fantastic. What is happening with Apple? I don't know what is happening with Apple. Man, today's market's getting worse and worse. Minus 640 now. Apple's still huge, 2.2 trillion. I keep waiting and waiting and waiting for Apple to get weaker because I'm thinking there's only so many people that can buy iPhones every year, right? They come out with a new iPhone every year. You got to figure at some point people are just not going to be upgrading every year. Maybe they wait 2 years or 3 years, right? But it just seems like they always find new people to buy iPhones. And it's quite amazing how they could do that. What is MicroStrategy is getting hammered today, minus 8%. And then what is Coinbase at? Coinbase getting hammered at minus 5%. New 52-week low today. Cathie Wood said she's stocking up. Well, it seems like it's a pretty good time to be stocking up when it's at a 52-week low. What's Mara? Mara is getting hammered, minus 7%. Today's just not a good day. Not a good day. Relatively speaking, Bitcoin is holding. We're still higher than where we were, just last week. We're still higher than those times. So do you think Powell was hawkish? No, I actually think he was dovish. He had to throw in hawkish language, right? Because he doesn't want to make people feel like he's giving up, that his job is done, that somehow inflation is over, right? So he was dovish. He recognized that they need to start slowing down the rate hikes. And going forward in 2023, they're going to monitor things. They just want to make sure that inflation is going down in the right direction. And then they're going to stop the rate hikes altogether. So I would say that's pretty dovish. But he wanted to make sure that people recognize that their job is not over. They will continue to monitor the situation and stuff like that. The only thing I disagreed and I thought was bad was the fact that he was looking for wages to come down, the job force to come down, and unemployment to go up. It's anticipated unemployment will go up to 4.6%. That is what he's looking at. Unfortunately, unemployment has not gone up at all, right? So that's one of the things that he said that is a little bit concerning. But overall, I think he was dovish. Are the forms that you print from exchanges for taxes already figured loss and profit? No, they usually don't. They usually just tell you like your trades and that's it. Just like brokerages. When brokerages, they send you the year-end statement, they don't really calculate it correctly. They may have some smaller version of it, but definitely not something that you could rely on. You do need some kind of software to kind of truly calculate it for you. So that's my experience with them. That's why, something like Cointracker, right? It just does everything for you. And it also remembers you. I mean, I've been using tax software like this for crypto for years. The good thing is it also remembers. So next year, it'll remember what your portfolio was like in 2022. And in 2023, it'll keep going in 2024. It'll remember all of your previous, holdings, right? So basically, once you plug it in, they'll just tell you. And that's pretty darn accurate. But afterwards, you can't just file it. You still have to integrate it with your overall, with everything else that you're filing, right? Your personal tax returns. So that's where you use like TurboTax or H&R Block or your CPA accountant. That's what I do. I just hand it off to my accountant, and she takes care of it for me. Alexandria says, I used it last year. We'll use it this year. Great. Since I partner with them, there's a 10% discount code, too, if you sign up using my link. So, in the description. Good thing about stock brokerages, everything downloads directly in TurboTax. Yeah, I've seen some. I don't know. I haven't used that many brokerages in the past. iPhone is giving away 1,000 off new iPhone with qualified trade-in. Sales are definitely down. Wow, I didn't know that. Sometimes I wonder how phone manufacturers make it that way. I mean, how they make any profits, because Samsung in the past have given like $800, $900 trade-in for an old Samsung phone, right? And that old phone could be like from 4 years ago. So here's a trick for those of you guys that want to take advantage. You know, whenever they have these trade-in offers, you don't have to trade in your latest phone. You could just go on Amazon or eBay, buy a phone that qualifies for a $1,000 rebate, and you could buy one for like $100, and then you could trade it in for a $1,000 phone, and you get a new phone for basically for that $100 that you paid for the old phone, right? So I don't know why more people don't take advantage of that. It just seems like it's free money. But then on the flip side, I don't know how like Samsung can survive by selling phones like that. I don't know. It's the same way with iPhones, but Samsung's like trade-in offers are usually pretty relaxed. Like the phones that they take are like, it could go back 5 years at like really old phones. No tax in Portugal for crypto. Well, you guys, you're lucky then. Very, very lucky. Very lucky indeed. Man, the U.S. market is just getting worse and worse and worse. Now we're at minus 700. Hey, what's this? Binance brushes off 2.1 billion FTX clawback concerns. Binance CEO dismissed concerns over whether Binance could handle a potential 2.1 billion clawback of proceeds from FTX divestment on appearance, early investor, but chilled. Okay, Binance divested its stake in FTX well before bankruptcy. Okay. I don't even know why FTX could have a 2.1 billion clawback. CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin presses out on whether he's expected to be able to return that 2.1 billion payment from FTX, which Binance earned when it exited in 2000. Okay, to trustees who are looking to call back any. Why would he need to give that back? FTX paid them $2.1 billion for the shares that Binance bought early on because they were early investors. So why would he need to even give that back? Well, anyway, Zhao says we're financially okay. So even if it was asked, he could pay it back. Binance could afford it. But still, why? That's before they went under. Anyways. A lot of FUD spreading around Binance, primarily from SBF and Kevin O'Leary. In your opinion, who's manipulating crypto market could be the top whales? How do you feel about manipulation and speculating controlling the markets? Is it scary at all? Yeah, I think about it sometimes. You know, even sometimes I get sick of hearing myself saying, well, we're being controlled by the whales. Unfortunately, it just happens. Wall Street, a lot of people on Wall Street, a lot of these institutions, hedge funds, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of money. They buy and sell, sometimes based on emotion too. I think we all like to think that hedge funds and the people who control these hundreds of billions or trillions of assets and large hedge funds, they like really know what they're doing. But a lot of times they're just guessing like everyone else. I still remember seeing the chart of the top hedge funds and how much they made in 2021, and that chart was laughable. Half of them lost money in 2021, one of the greatest years that we ever had in trading history. A lot of them lost money, and none of them outperformed Bitcoin. And only one, I think it was like 2 or 3 outperformed just S&P. So I think a lot of people just think that a lot of these big boys, they just kind of know things. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just go off the same information that everyone else does. But unfortunately, I think there are times when there may be a coordinated sell-off or a coordinated buy, and then we see that kind of manipulation or price suppression, right? Because of those big guys, because they have so much money. But over time, Bitcoin has proven, right, as more and more people come in, more people hold, that price suppression or manipulation decreases. That's why we are more than 5 times higher than the low of 2018. Despite coming down from our high, we're still more than 6 times. We're 6 times higher than the low of 2018. So as Bitcoin and crypto gets bigger, manipulation becomes smaller. Though some people argue it'll never go away, because people argue like gold, for example, is being suppressed by Wall Street. It never goes higher. So, but gold is different than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is better. Bitcoin is pharmaceutical gold. All the pluses, none of the negatives. There are even bigger whales among the whales, yes. Megalodon whales. I just made that up. Are you worried about Binance or Tether? No, not one bit. Someday Tether will collapse. But that day won't be today or anytime soon. And neither will Binance go anywhere. Binance is perfectly fine. Although, like I said, if you distrust banks or CZ or Binance or any exchange, right? Safeguard your own crypto. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Same thing with Tether. If you don't like Tether, I don't like Tether. I keep very, 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 very little in USDT. I keep primarily in USDC or BUSD. Very little in USDT. So if you don't trust Tether, don't put money into Tether. If you don't trust Binance or any exchange out there, then take your money out and put in a wallet that you control. It's that simple. But in my opinion, Binance is safe and they're not going to go anywhere. Same thing with Coinbase. They're not going to go anywhere. As for other foreign exchanges, I think I can't speak to them, right? But I do think there's some that's been around for many, many years, and they will probably be just fine. Not everything is like FTX. Not everyone is like FTX. Let's just put it that way. Binance will collapse too. They are being truthful how much they own. They actually are being very truthful. It's based on all the wallet addresses they have provided, and it shows 60 billion in assets. So I don't know how else you could be more truthful. Are exchange coins a gimmick? They're not a gimmick, but it really depends on if you like that exchange and whether you use them for something, right? Like BNB, KuCoin token, OKX token, everyone copied off of BNB, but you get discounts with trading, right? But BNB, there's more use because they have liquidity pools, they have their own chain dexes and stuff like that, so it's more useful. It's not just exchange coin. A lot of these other exchange coins are just to be used on exchanges, so there's a difference there. How much confidence do you have in metaverse coins? There's only a couple that I like, Sandbox and Gala. I think they're both very down from their high, right? But I think both projects are continuing forward. Animoca Brands, which is behind Sandbox, absolutely huge. They're not going anywhere. So they're going to continue to support Sandbox. And Gala, I think there's just a good company with good leadership. And they continue to move forward too. So I like those two. I like those two. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Today, minus 700 right now for Dow. Today is a day where people are just really, really scared about rising rates, right? What is going to happen in 2023? ECB, Bank of England, and of course, the Fed in the U.S. all raised rates 50 basis points, right? Is this going to bring on serious recession, a heavy recession that's going to pull markets down and bring more pain? I guess we'll wait and see. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But stay strong, my friends. Don't give up. Better days are coming. And don't give up on Bitcoin, the greatest store of value that we have today. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and maybe we get some good news from Ripple. We'll have to wait and see if they settle with the SEC. That would be amazing. All right, VI Jokers, thank you. Appreciate it. Take care, guys.